Whoa, what's up? What's up, my dudes? Today, you might notice I have changed the title of the stream from D-Lang to V-Lang. And if you're wondering why that is, it's because I've discovered the most underrated C-like language. C-like? Similar to C, it's like how Linux is Unix-like and not, you know what I mean? Like, not Unix-based. I mean, technically, at the end of the day, most of these languages just compile down to C code at the end of the day. But that's beyond the point. V is interesting because V is like better C. But that's what they all say. And VLang, let me just show you exactly what we're getting into today. So on their website, VLang is really cool. Looks a lot similar to D, so I think I'll be able to start off and be pretty good at it. They have a documentation page, I'll go check that out. And they have a lot of documentation. They have documentation, and then they have standard lib documentation, and then they have tutorial documentation for people who are dumb like me, and honestly might need that sort of thing. Is V still fast? Like here's what I should do first, since before I learn any language, I think it's a good idea that I learn exactly what it's like. So this is just a speed. Oh, this is like a speed check kind of thing. There might be a section, like there might be a website that has a VLang versus DLang versus CLang speed comparison. I'm gonna see if there's a website. D versus C++. Compile time code generation. Which D does have that. You can use, what are they called? The intrinsics? Hot code reloading. Whoa. V was created because it had the following features. Global state. Small compiler with zero dependencies. These are like kind of interesting things. I mean, technically anybody could write, well, anybody who knows what they're doing could write a compiler for D that's way smaller, but the problem with that is that then you'd have to probably rewrite the whole library, honestly, and that would then make it a different language, I think. V for Go developers, V for C++ developers. I feel like if you're going to be a C++ developer and you want to try a different language, I'd go with Odin. Odin seems like it's the one to go with. But me, you know how there's like distro hoppers? I'm like the language hopper. I am the language. Why is this not live chat, bro? It should be live chat. I am a language hopper, bro, and I won't deny it. Well. Anyway. So yeah, back to the VLang stuff. It looks very similar to DLang. We got imports, but they don't have the same syntax. Oh, wow. Hacker News, Firebase. Bro, is this one of their websites, honestly? V and Nim are very different. One of V's main philosophies. Oh wait, is this a D-Line thing? Oh, never mind. V can... Whoa. Bro, what the fuck is this shit? Oh wait, this is... Yeah, unlike V, Nim generates unreadable C code with lots of extra bloat, for example. Which, that's a thing you can do with V. You can generate C code from V. Now, I think you could generate C code from D if you extern C, and then you create an object file, and then somehow uncompile that. I think I do have the tools for that, potentially, but that's a lot of extra steps, whereas V in some of the other documentation or like information about V has the ability to do some of this stuff. So I kind of have like I kind of did a bit of reading beforehand. So you got your safety, so like your memory shit. Um, Balance checking, I mean, I don't really know what most of this means. I just know that safety means that, oh, hey, no null. Null in D is, so yeah, in safe code you can't use null, but in null in D is like okay for safe code. I feel like null just has like, I don't know what null means in D exactly, but I know it has a weird fucking meaning compared to other languages. C interop, so that's a similarity between it and D. Fast compilation. D is also fast. Although we'll see how fast V is. I bet V is probably slower than D because D is like the fastest compiling language I've ever seen, bro. I mean, C feels slow. C++ is slow. I've compiled some of the libraries when I was working on D projects, and I was like, bro, C? C++? Why the fuck are these things so slow? C translation. This is a big thing that I'm really interested in. This is the reason why I want to learn V, is because I have this, and I learn V, then I'm gonna be able to do crazy stuff. I'll be able to be like, I can't read this C code, please translate to V for me. And it translates it into V. But we're gonna get into that. It's gonna be like next episode probably. Hot code reloading, get your changes instantly without recompiling. Since you also don't have to get a state you're working with every compilation. Powerful graphics library. Cross-plat... Oh, there's a 3D engine. This is crazy. This might be like a step in the right direction for me, honestly. It might make shit way easier if I want to make fish tech, bro. Easy compilation. Does it have a garbage collector? That's my real question, though. Garbage collector or no garbage collector? I feel like I don't know if it has a garbage collector. That'd be pretty interesting. What is this? REPL? REPL? Runtime environment? Something? Oh, maybe it's like a runtime version? Cross-platform shell scripts in V as an alternative to Bash to write deployment scripts, build scripts, etc. The advantage of using V for this is simplicity. The predictability of the language, that's actually really cool. D can kind of do that if you use RDMD, but no. RDMD is not where it's at for me. So, yeah. Interesting. JavaScript and WASM can be translated into JavaScript. I don't think I'm ever going to do that. Well, actually, I might. It would be a cool thing for a video. So if you could translate C to V, then you can translate C to JavaScript. So it's like a translation language almost. And then it has its own libraries. This is a very powerful language. Powerful, built-in web framework, Web. You know, every language I look at has something like that. Like D has VibeD, but it's not built in. It's okay, so that's a difference. Squite. Wow. Built-in V, the V compiler, Volt, native desktop client for Slack, Skype, Matrix. Wow, that's actually pretty cool. Vox browser. There's a few things. C to V translator. C++ support is planned as well. The VUI cross-platform. I've seen some of the stuff with VUI. Vorum. That's weird. Vgram. A Vim-like editor for your terminal. VGUI. V Scientific Library. Greetings. Hello. So, V is a cool language. I just spent the last, however long glazing V, but let's actually get into it. Oh, it's like, is that Soilana? Bro, Soilana memes, bro. Soilana! I don't know why, but, let's go to GitHub first. Let's get this thing. And, there's one other thing I should read. Before I get into anything else, I think we should probably read the FAQ. Frequently asked questions. since why V when there is already so many languages? Why not use Go? This is like the same. This is the same thing that Jody Brucon says about his Jofito that he's making. I heard about it yesterday, and it sounds like he's I hope he's working on Jofito, but I have no idea. It sounds like he's just throwing ideas out there right now, which I honestly hope he makes Jofito, but because they'll be crazy. But anyway, everybody has to say why when there's so many other languages, which is crazy to me. Anyway, V uses LLVM. No, V uses C as its backend, and it will... Yeah, so is V just better C, basically, but... Like, interoperability would be a benefit, honestly. For now, V emits C. So that basically means just like... I wonder if D-Lang emits C. I think it does. Does D-Lang emits... Question mark? D-Lang emits C? Can emit C code. Yeah, so D-Lang's actually its own thing, I think. I don't think it... I think only when you extern C is there yes. By default, V uses the BOEM GC. This is kind of weird though, honestly. Like, they're using a lot of external stuff. D-Lang made its own garbage collector. It has the D-Lang garbage collector or whatever the fuck. You can disable it and manage by passing the yeah, so you can disable that. Good. That's a good thing. If you have a garbage collector, you need to have a thing to disable it. That's a thing you need in languages. Due to garbage collectors tend to always, like, do everything all at the same time. So, like, it'll be like, alright, we're exiting a scope, and we just initialized a whole bunch of shit. Now we have to uninitialize it. We just loaded up our entire game engine in this initialization sequence, and then boom, concurrency. Can run foo concurrently. We can just call it with spawn, like spawn foo. D-Lang syntax for that would be like spawn, it would be like a for each loop, and then you'd have spawn foo if you want to spawn a bunch of the same. vrun on, there is a dash freestanding option that excludes libc and vlib. But it is work in progress and is not the focus of development right now. This is important. This right here. For like operating system development, you need to have the option to exclude libc and vlib for that. Will I be able to use a custom allocator? I have no idea what this means. I don't know what an allocator is, but maybe either something to do with the garbage collector or something to do with memory usage. Probably. Is V going to change a lot? No, V will stay a small, simple language. What about what operating sort? Oh, or are supported? Oh, okay. I was like, which ones aren't supported? Linux. Whoa. Who's behind V? Me and 250 plus open source developers. How can it translate C? It's very hard for one person to write a C parser. There is a C2V tool, which can help you with translation or wrapper generation. Wow. Why V? Any plans to implement macros? No, sorry. Macros can be really useful, but they can complicate code significantly. Every company, team, and developer can extend the language, and it's no longer possible to jump into a new code base and immediately understand what's going on. V will have sophisticated code generation. AFK real quick? Okay. V is under MIT license, though. MIT license is open source, I think, still. But it compiles, if it emits C, right? So that means it must compile to C. Uses GCC for optimized production builds. But doesn't it it uses LLVM? Oh, uses C as its backend. So anything can compile this. A separate LLVM backend is developed by the community. LLVM isn't bad for D-Lang. I'm not sure how it's going to be for V if it emits C. So C is the back end, and then compilers can handle V into that, I guess. Or no, V emits C, and then the C gets compiled. Probably something like that. But I'm not sure how that's a fast compiler. Let's go ahead and get the release. Let's see, releases. I'm not going to build from scratch because God only knows how bad that will hurt me. vlinux.zip. Wow. Wowazooey. V for Linux. Linux tech tip. Oh yeah, jailing and Uzi Doom, bro. Uzi Doom. I was thinking about making a game on Geezy Doom. I was like, bro, how am I gonna do that? I don't even know C. I'm also gonna grab the ARM version because I'm a big ARM enjoyer. If you didn't know, now you know. I enjoy ARM a lot, and if that hurts you somehow, just remember, I like ARM a lot. But anyway, back to what really matters. So we've gotten our V compiler thingy, our V language thing. Let's get into it with a tutorial. Tutorial video. Whoa. Wow, there's not really much tutorials, honestly. Documentation. What? Nice. V is a statically typed, compiled programming language designed for buildable, maintainable software. It's similar to Go. Designed influence has been Oberon's, Rust, Swift, Kotlin, and Python are the influences that make sense because import from Python, something from something from something. V is a very simple language. Going through this documentation will take you about a weekend. Looks pretty, oh, never mind. Looks are deceiving. Looks pretty long, actually. But this will be good documentation, it looks like, so I'm excited. The language promotes writing simple and clear code with minimal abstraction. Despite it being simple, V gives the developer a lot of power. Anything you can do in other languages, you can do with V. Yep, I expect that, honestly. Next page. This V has not yet found a simple formal language specification document like the Go spec. This document, for syntax and semantics, the compiler implementation, the executable language, blah 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 blah. When documentation and implementation diverge, compiler behavior and tests are the source of the truth. Okay. Yeah, I mean, just read what the compiler says every time things break. Installing V from source. The best way to get the latest and greatest of V is to install it from source. It is easy and takes only 5 seconds. Coolio! Alright, let's go ahead and do that now. Let me open the electricity. Maybe I'll make this tiny and put it on the other side of my screen. I wonder if everything's still working. Is my Brave browser working right now? Wow, that's actually interesting. That's crazy. I didn't know that. It broke earlier in the previous stream and I was like, bro, I'm not even getting any messages or anything. What the hell is going on? I think it will break today again. At some points this stream, but just let me know if actually you won't be able to. Alright, CD into downloads. I'm gonna just git clone it. Git clone --depth equals 1. I really should get an NVMe to store all this stuff for like a hard copy of like this in case I ever... Well, in case the internet ever gets destroyed at some point in the future, I need to have a copy of the V compiler at this point and the V documentation. It's like doomsday prepping. But like internet doomsday prepping, so that way I can keep programming even if the world ends. Wow! What? GitHub.occam? Oh my god, bro. What the hell? GitHub.com. Bro. Me am not typing. Good job. Fatal. Lib fatal. CD into V. Make. So we're getting the latest and greatest of what V has to offer. This is Coolio. Alright, now on Ubuntu, instead of in the, okay. On Ubuntu/Debian, you may need to make, or to run sudo apt install git build essential make first. For more details, see installing V section in README. Okay. Thank you. V. How do I use the V compiler? Upgrading V to the latest version. If V is already installed on your machine, it can be upgraded to the latest version by using V's built-in self-updater. To do so, run the command V up. Nice. Are you sure? Your TCC is working good. It is much faster at compiling. It is much faster at compiling C source code. RM-RF V1 and V2. Nice, it even cleans itself up afterwards, kind of. So then can I run V? Where is V? How does one run the V? The V up. Okay, hold on. Installation. CD installing V section. Alright, so once we've done that, now try running /v run examples. /v. Wow. Oh? Runtime environment programming language? No way. Check this out. This is like Python. Python right here. Wow. Exits. Look at that. I can run V before I do it. Alright, let's get back to the documentation stuff. I'm gonna have to make this a little bit smaller since I'm gonna need to make space for this thing. This thing is gonna be big. It's gonna be giga, if you know what I mean. It's kind of like J, honestly, where J is like a thingamajib. Alright, so let's go ahead and look at the documentation. So apparently it's /v. V fast fetch? Yeah, literally. I'm excited to try out V though. There's so much you can do with it apparently. CD --. So take me to my home. Let's see if I can do /v. See, it's not added as a path variable yet. Let's add it to the path. So to do that, we'll CD into CD to downloads. And then V. And then let's make it a path. Like Python, try help / inside the thing. And then let's sudo, actually ls. There's a thing called V, so then let's go ahead and sudo nano bash rc. Alright, time to add to my path. Wow. Wowie. Wawazooey. So I think we need to export path. Here, this one. Let's just copy that. Export path equals and then downloads V $$ path, so that way it just adds it on there. That's what that does. So it takes the current path variable and then just adds this onto it. Alright, source. Bash rc v. Whoa! Wait, no, that's not cool. cd dot dot. Watch this. V. Bro, I added it to my path like a Giga Chad. You know what I saw yesterday? I watched a Basically Homeless video, and I was like, God damn, this guy is building something crazy, and I'm jealous. That's what I want to do with my channel. Eventually, someday we're gonna do what, VLang, it exists. Yeah, and it's really cool. I looked at this thing, and I was like, you can compile C into V, and then recompile it back into, well, basically just, there's such an interesting cross-compatibility. Reminds me of Titanium Ranger. Yeah. V has like a lot of the features of D too. I like this. I'm gonna be able to transition to V coding, and then be like, alright, well I need to interrupt some C, but I know V and V is pleasant to me, so I'll just convert the C code into V code, and then from there I'll emit C from the V code and then interrupt it with my D, just so I can make things even easier. God knows what problems that's going to cause, but anyway. So now we're ready for the start, I think. Anyway, let's check before we do anything else. I want to read some more stuff. We've already read upgrading, project local compiler versions, right? If a project contains a .vmrc file, commands like vrun, vfile.v, or vfile.v will try to find a delegate to the requested V compiler version. This makes it easier to keep a project pinned to a known compiler release. The file should contain one version per project, for example, 0.4.12. I have no idea what I just read, okay? I'm kind of confused. Oh, so if it contains this, or these, it will try to find a delegate to the requested V compiler version. And that makes it easier to keep a project pinned to a known compiler release. Okay. If this has something to do with sysv in it, I'll def give it a try. I don't know if it does. That's something you'd have to research, or maybe I'll research it in a video. I don't know. I got a lot of stuff planned coming up soon, so that's pretty good. But yeah, both zero. Okay, so now both 0.4 are accepted. Special aliases latest and current keep using the currently running compiler. V searches for .vmrc from target path and upward, and stops at the repository and project boundaries such as git, hg, svn, or vrun stop. I don't know why this is important though. Well, other than the version, I guess. I think I can understand why. I think it's important for the version to be the same. See notes on how to prepare a package for V. Packaging V. Thank you for supporting V and its users and creating and maintaining a package for it. V is still changing. Installing it from store. I'm not a fan of when things are changing, but I mean, it's like Java developers, bro. If you're a Java developer and you're like, all right, I'm gonna program Java, and then Java updates to like Java 26,000, bro. How many Java versions are there? Right? There was, I think most people I know program Java 8, but then like you got your Java 22, your Java 25, your Java 26, you got your Java 18, 14, 11. That's a mess. It's like .NET runtime is also a mess. That's what happens when corporations make languages. They end up updating it so many fucking times. And making features obsolete, or it's because of incompetency, I think, at that end. V builds many of its commands on demand to save both time and space. The source of entry points for those commands is stored in a folder CMD tools. If you are preparing a pre-built package, it needs to ensure that the final package after installation will be read-only. That will be a problem since V will try to write to its cmd/tools folder. To prevent that, you need to build all of the commands/executables in that folder ahead of time. This can be done by the command vbuildtools. Man, what the hell is VLang? I went over that in the first 20 minutes, and I don't really want to go back and reread all of that. But basically, it's a statically typed language that's similar to C. It's not like a systems language, but it's a language that can emit C, or well, it emits C. So C is the backend for it. It can be compiled with LLVM or GCC apparently, because they have an LLVM that's developed by the community. So that's the support for LLVM is developed by the community, obviously. What else? What else does it do? Oh, you can translate C into V, and V has good interop. I think that's a good summary, but I really haven't messed with this language enough to know a lot of things about it, so that's why I'm here to learn it for you all, and then, yeah, it's entertainment, I guess. V has a tool/command that enables rapid updating to the latest. This is a lot to read, but I have to read it because reading makes you smart, so. Most distros, however, have a policy of not allowing packages to make modifications to themselves. Instead, they require the user to use their package. So this is for like people who plan to make a package that's going to be in like the main standard V library, I guess, standard VLib or whatever, I'm guessing. So that's pretty cool that they document that. I feel like D doesn't really, when I read the D book, the book of Jesus Christ himself, I was like, God damn. There is like, I mean, there's none of that in there. So this is a plus for these guys. Honestly, that will be helpful for them. Reading has not made me smart. Yeah, reading, I feel like doing shit's what makes me smart. Like, every time I do something, I get a little better at it. Obviously, it doesn't kick in right away because I'm dumb. I was looking at the V programming language at some point as well. Yeah, I'm looking at it because it looks cool, honestly. And it has a lot of interesting things where you can, like, translate C into V. And I'm like, well, if I learn V looks similar to D already. So it's, like, already even more legible than C. I mean, C isn't illegible. I mean, I can read C, kind of. There's a lot of things I don't know about C, though, because C does some interesting stuff that D kind of glosses over, honestly. But C also includes, like, memory allocation stuff, because you have to do that manually. And this has its own runtime as well. So if we do interrupt this with D-lang stuff, we need to be careful of that. But it emits C, though. That's, like, the difference. This is, like, C for people who can't code C. At this point, I should just fucking learn C so I can interop with C better. But there's also a lot of good shit in this. Like, it's got its own GUI and stuff. Like, you can have a GUI application built entirely with V. There's a lot of really cool shit you can do with V, so. Like, what was it? They have their own graphics library. If we go down here, there's like a section. No, what is this? What V developers say about V? I want to read this one. I'm mostly surprised about how many things just work. Channels and closures made implementing asynchronous callbacks for C functions such a breeze. Thanks for that. Joel L. Thank you, Joel L. That's amazing. I wanted to read it because it had an emoji. Oh, here's another one. Never mind. That one probably wasn't funny. None of these are actually funny. These are actually great, though. It's pretty cool to see such an interesting, interesting community. Where's the one page? I swear this page had like the graphics library and shit in here. Examples. Whoa, no. No examples. Take me to the V programming language page. Where did all the... Ah, here we go. See, you can translate C with it. Powerful graphics library. Cross-platform drawing library using OpenGL Metal DirectX 11 for rendering applications. There's also a 3D engine in development with the following features already available. Loading complex 3D options. Like, this would really speed up the development of fish tech if I ever go back to doing that. Is be like, alright, we'll just use the V 3D rendering engine so I don't have to deal with that fucking bullshit. Because trying to write it all from scratch in D was killing me inside. Slowly. V new -- web. Template uses Veb Vs. Veb. Oh yeah, I like Veb. It sounds like vebbing, bro. V init adds necessary files to the current project folder to make it a V project. Alright, let's go ahead and Control C out of that. Let's go ahead and CD to desktop. What? / desktop. mkdir v. Yeah, make a directory called vlang. Alright, CD into v. Oh my god, bro, it's gonna be like this. vlang. What? Are you sure about that? Bro, it was always weird with vlang. Huh? What the hell? Where's my vlang? Bro. Oh, you know what I did wrong? Anyway, mvv to vlang ls cd v lang. Yep, now we're in ls. Wow. ls, there's nothing in here. mkdir make dir. mkdir, what are we gonna make? V, let's do hello world. No, let's do first V. Or, let's do V1. No. Yeah. Start V. I have no idea what to name these things, honestly. That's like, I feel like that's something everybody does. Let's do V in it and see what it does. Input your project description. Basic V project. Yeah, we'll take the MIT license, sure. I mean, why not? So V in it. I don't like init. Bro, I don't even like licensing my code, bro. See, that's what I don't do, bro. I don't even want to do that, honestly. Because I know I'm not going to make anything that I'm actually going to be like, wow, I'm going to publish this because it's so amazing. But then I will have to be obligated to do it, honestly. I don't want to do that. And then if I am obligated, then I'm... You know, it's kind of... I don't like that. See, none of what I do is going to end up going anywhere, so... CD to, or actually ls. Let's see what it made. So it made a main.v and a v.mod. Alright. Very interesting. Kate. What? God damn it. Everybody knows I use Kate in these videos, by the way. And it's just easier to use Alacrity. Wow. Make this thing tiny and put it on that corner so I look pretty fucking cool right now, bro. Multitasking all at once, bro. This is why we have 5,000 cores in modern computers. I actually need to check and make sure everything's still working, and it is. It's very good. V new dash web. Let's see, what's next? So hello world, let's see what that looks like. Oh wait, that gives me like F sharp vibes, kind of. F sharp kind of vibe right there. Like, you know F sharp? You guys know that fuck ass Microsoft language? F sharp. F sharp, honestly. Is this actually a fuck ass Microsoft language, or is it actually kind of an open source thing? I don't even know. It looks fuck ass though. Like, look, let greets. What the fuck is a let, bro? What is let? Please. I don't know, but FN gives me that vibe. Anyway, so we're gonna do that. We're gonna cd into our directory now. Actually, do I even need to cd into no, we don't need to. Get rid of this terminal, I don't need that shit. Open file, desktop. Bro, which one is it? Oh, here we go. Start v mod. What is it in v.mod? Oh wow, they already made everything for me. So we have module main, fn main, print line, hello world. Now here's where things are looking interesting, because they're using these for it, and it kind of gives me this weird vibe, but... So fn main, I guess, is kind of like a void. So this basically declares the type as void, and then like a function. But the type is fn, or function, which I like that syntax. It's really small, although void was just 4 letters. And I mean, the difference between 4 and 2 letters is practically negligible, even though it takes you twice as long to type 4 letters versus 2. So there's that. Also, there is cross-platform capabilities for VLang, I'm pretty sure, so that should be interesting to check out as well. I'm not sure about how well the actual Verilog. What? It defaults to Verilog? Bro. V. See? It's not Verilog. I don't know why it thinks .v means Verilog, bro. Anyway. Also, Kate's probably super bloated, honestly. But anyway, we should be able to just do, what's the next steps, boss? This snippet, save this snippet to a file named hello.v. Now do v.run, or vrun hello.v. Okay. I mean, main hello world. That took a little bit. Let's time that. Oh yeah, that's a runtime. That's a runtime. I'm telling you that right now. CD desktop slash spaghetti. Spaghetti! Oh wow, you can't say it without saying spaghetti. ls. cd, oh no. ls. ./comparison. Time ./comparison. Oh, hold on. Just to compare, that's a dealing program, that's not a runtime. Here, that's how I know it's a runtime, right? So, if you don't have a... If you're not, like... This is either interpreted or at runtime. So interpreted would be like... It's gonna have, like, around 200 seconds or so. Or, not 200 seconds. It's just gonna have 2 seconds, It's gonna be, like, a lot longer than, obviously, a compiled language. So, obviously, that's why this is happening. Now... If I run, I should be able to ls again and see which ones are here. If I do ./publish, I think. No, actually, yeah. Yeah, publish, tab, hello world. and I time that one. This is a C# program that interfaces with D, so it's a little bit faster. So that's if you use a D library with C#, you get speeds like this. 0.8, 0.08, 0.06, and then 0.01 seconds, versus what we have there. However, with something like, I forgot which one I did, but it was like 200 seconds. Maybe it was jailing. Did I actually write any J programs or no? RM. Actually, ls lang. Bro, what's in lang? rm-rf lang. ls. Alright, cd. Which one was it that I did? Because it took like a pure... C# is kind of fast, honestly. C# is a little bit slower than D, but... I can't remember which project it was, but I've seen times like this, and that just pointed me towards it being kind of like that. I thought it was the C# one that ran that slow, but apparently it's actually pretty fast. Maybe it was when I ran .NET Run on the C# project. That was actually really crazy. That one was the one that took 200 seconds for sure. But anyway, that is assuming you've symlinked your V with vsymlink as described here. If you haven't yet, you have to type the path to V manually, or put it in your path in .bashrc like I did, bro, like a gigachad. You know what I mean? Like, so like absolutely put it in that shit if you're lazy like me. Alright, from the example above, you can see functions are declared with fn as in function. The return is specified after the function name, in this case main. Doesn't return anything, so there's no return type. As in many other languages, such as C, Go, Rust, main is the entry point of the program. Println is one of the few built-in functions. It prints the value passed to it. Standard output. Declaration can be skipped in single file programs. This is useful when writing small program scripts. Just learning learning the language for brevity. Fn main would be skipped in this tutorial. That means that the hello world program is as simple as. So, in theory, I could run, instead of that, just literally this. And it still works? What the hell? Anyway, that's crazy. And it also reduced the time, kind of. No, actually it increased it by a second. That's really crazy to me. I don't really know what all their stuff is called, but it looks like they have module main. I don't see any imports. So like, this is literally just declaring it as a module called module main, and then it has a function main. This is pretty cool to look at. So that's amazing. You can, yeah, I hope they have selective imports. That's one of the things I like about D, is that in D-Lang, if I want to import something, I can literally just do this. Import something. See, like I could do that. I hope that's what this is like. So that's a really nice feature. I like that. I hope it's not a runtime. I really hope it's not like completely a runtime language. So actually, if I just ran V, I can do all of the code from there, theoretically. So if I print ln hello. So this is great for testing, I think. Yeah. Can I get a time on that one? Because that was like, that's a little bit of a delay. Time time v. Oh, this is just gonna be me timing how long I spend in V at this point. It's gonna take me 5 minutes to type it out, bro. There's no real great way to test the time on this thing. But yeah, it took me 15 seconds to type that out. I have no idea what it actually took to print the line, so interesting. Okay, so now we can compile it. So v main.v ls, and there should be a main /main hello world time./main. So if you do vrun, that's literally running a script. Now comparing that to the results we got earlier, let's see, it's on par with D, I would say. That just means it's just emitting C, I think. But I'm sure with bigger programs, that would be a little bit interesting to see how those work out. Next, running a project folder with several files. Suppose you have a folder with several .v files in it, where one of them contains your main function and the other files contain the helper functions. They may be organized by topic, but still not yet structured enough to be their own separate reusable modules, and you want to compile them into one program. As long as those files are in the same folder and declare the same module, usually module main for application, you can call helper functions directly from other files. You do not need to import sibling.v files. Oh, that's really interesting. So if you have v files in the same v folder, then basically what that means is I don't have to import any of them. Whoa. Holy crap. Hold on, let's try, let's see if we can do that in vrun. Let's see if we can import in v.run. V. Import OS. Now, print ln os.args. I don't know what that did, but that's actually pretty interesting. Wait, this is a terminal in VLang. It's a VLang terminal. Instead of .bashrc, we have the V language terminal. Oh, it's the jack of all trades, isn't it? This is actually fucking cool. This is a cool language. Alright. In V, however, you can compile and run a whole folder of .v files together. Just do vrun passing parameters. Also works. vrun your parameter. Some other stuff. I like this. This is very good. I like how you wrote this. This is actually something I like. I would put probably, maybe, might be some other stuff. Could potentially, possibly be. But whoever wrote this, good job. I'm actually a fan. The above will first compile your files into a single program named after your folder projects, and then it will execute the program with -- your parameter, some other stuff passed to it as CLI parameters. You can then use CLI parameters like this. Oh, wait, so like, for example, so I would need to import OS, right? I want to see how import works exactly. So let's try that out. Let's get rid of all this other stuff. Actually, here's a real good question. Import OS. Now, println os.args. I want to see if it can selectively import inside of a function. That is what I want to see. If this can do that, that's really good. I really like when you can do that and make your code really clean. Obviously, that means every function, either you have it in your main space or like you have it inside the scope of this function, but I like it when you can import inside of those. Let me check what the lines. The lines don't even have semicolons at the end, bro. Bro, that's cool. But I don't know if I like that or not. I don't know. Ooh, this is such an interesting language. LS. vrun. We're gonna practice doing vrun main.v and then doing invalid expression, unexpected keyword, import. So if I put it here, this is how we learn stuff, is by screwing around and seeing what works and what doesn't. Yeah, but when you do vrun, I think you can pass it as, yeah, vrun, and then you do dash dash your param some underscore stuff. And when I did that, it accepts that into the program. So that's cool, but how do you use this? Like, so yeah, you can pass it to the thing, but what does that get you exactly? Anyway, the above will first compile your files into a single program named after your folder project, and then it will execute the program with your param stuff passed as its CLI parameters. What does CLI stand for? I guess if you... Oh, wait, you pass it in? Oh, Beck? Hello, Beck. How's it going? Note, after a successful run, V will delete the generated executable. If you... So it compiles, and then if there's VLang, is there WLang? That's a good question. Let's find out. W programming language. The W programming language, oh god, is a oh god. The W programming language is a simple programming language designed for speed of writability. Was conceived in 2013. Do I need to learn W? Is it compiled or what? .w. Oh my gosh. Command line interface? Oh, yeah, I wasn't sure because it's like... Okay, so that... What exactly would this get you? Like, you just pass that parameter when you do vrun. What does that do for you exactly? Like, you can... Maybe you can take specifics from their environmental variables and be like, alright, we need to do... That'd be like something built into the program, like a pragma, honestly, would be able to grab it if you did it in D. I think a pragma can grab environmental variables, but I don't know. It's just a weird thing. I don't know why you would pass CLI parameters to a program. Like, what does that get you? I'm sure some of you have a better experience of this, like have knowledge of it, but I don't really know. After a successful run, V will delete the generated executable. If you want to run it, use v-keep run.d instead of, or just manually compile with v dot. Alright, let's try out that, let's try v run.main dash keep c run dot. Oh, and it took the environmental variable from there. You'd be able to take arguments like vrun program 123, and then it will print 123. I mean, I guess, but like, I mean, when would that be useful though? Like, maybe that's the version, like to take like, okay, I think I'm thinking in the right direction, but you could be like, well, I want to have an idea of what version it is, but I'm too lazy to change that, so I'll just include a version variable, for example. Let's say that. Let's say we included a version variable, and we just, at compile time, we specify it with a dash dash my parameter, boom. and then compile that into there. So then I could be like, every time I run it, it's like, oh, the version's that. Perfect. That's actually pretty useful, I think. That now I see the usage. I just was unsure at first. But also you get all this other stuff too, like the current path, apparently, and other stuff. Maybe it's print OS. That's an array though. It's an array of strings, it looks like. I wonder. Let's try to get the third one. Let's try the my parameter thing again. 3. I wonder if it works like the... Oh. Hold on, I forgot to save it. Launch arguments like building with CMake, debug enables the ndebug flag, which is used for building code paths. I've never really used CMake. I think I should probably learn CMake then. Oh? What did I just do? Oh, index out of range. Oh, but it is an array. I was certain it was. Try to. That should give us whatever I put in there. Whoa, that's pretty cool. That's pretty neat. All right, let's go ahead and pass. Let's see if we can do this version. This is really cool, actually. This is actually the coolest thing I think I've ever seen. Having my own stuff at compile time could be the most interesting thing that this language has, besides the C translation stuff. Oh yeah, I'm really geeking over this language right now, bro. Geeking. That's the word to describe it. V 0.0.0. I hope it just passes it like that. Bro. No way. Let's see if I can do, include 2 things in here. So print ln, my program. Most languages take arguments as array, like pass. Yeah, I gotta learn how to do this with D-Lang, because I think, like, I definitely think it's something I can do with D. I've just never actually learned about this before. Aw, man, what? Print expected 1 argument, but got 2? That's kind of not cool, in my opinion. But I bet I can just do print, and then just print that, and then print another line. See, for now, I don't really know what I'm doing with this entirely, so... But, print ln. I'm gonna spend, like, 10 minutes doing all of this shit, because there's just so much new shit to learn now. It's, the gateway to Doom in VLang. Oh, bro, I can't wait to play the VLang Doom. I keep wanting to put semicolon at the end of everything, because I'm so used to doing that. Alright, pass it. My program version, that version. So boom. Let's go ahead and compile it. Let's see how it works. And v dot slash. Can I do v dot slash main dot v? Alright, then main dot dot slash main. What the hell? Index out of range. See, it doesn't do it unless that's specified. But what if you could just keep that in there? I guess, like, I could see how that could be useful. If we had a program that starts another program but then passes that in there, like, for example, if I made a D program to somehow pass that through the CLI, that'd be kind of weird, but maybe like a launcher almost. You could pass, like, oh, let's say I have a launcher, right, and I'm somehow doing some weird shit and I want to pass arguments through CLI, or no. you wouldn't have to do it through the CLI necessarily, but if you pass them at like launch, I don't know if that works exactly. I wonder if it works here though. /main and then -- version equals Gordon. My program Gordon. Sup back? I back. I'm. So yeah, you can still pass the version through there. That's pretty interesting. But then that would be like if, let's say for example we had an if statement and it's like, oh, for making command line tools, that's where it is super useful, because then I could be like, what if I have instead I just pass help, or I take the parameter 1, then this is cool. This is really cool. Oh yeah. There's an execute program with arguments in like function execute. Is this the die and capture card? Is it bad? Is the quality bad? I don't understand. This is not over the die and capture card. That's pretty decent to me, honestly. I mean, that's good enough. Good enough. Oh. Anyway, println args. Very nice. So yeah, let's try to make some kind of tool or something with this, because this is a really cool feature I never really noticed with D, or never really touched on. I bet it is a thing in D, I just never really got to it. So import OS, then module main. I don't like that we have to import this here, import OS there, but also, can I do it selectively too? Like, even more selectively? Anyway, so yeah, that's pretty neat. Like, for example, let's say we have a tool, right, and we want to specify the path. And so we would take args1, and then anything after args1, right? So args1 determines what it's going to be, and then we can, this is your main PC? Yeah. This is my main PC. Alright, let's go back to the documentation. So let's continue, because I'm sure they got more stuff for me to look at. And I want to build more. So comments. This is a single line comments. This is a multi-line comment. It can be nested. I like this syntax the best. This one is probably one I use the most. Import OS and then input. Interesting. I'll try that when I get there. Okay, so here we go. Functions. Add. Sub. Oh, hey, here we go. Add is just this. I don't know why you'd do that instead of just being like, ah. Actually, I know why you'd do that. However, what specs? Here, I'll just fast fetch it for you. Oh, what? Fast not found? Wow. Wowazooey. Wowie. This is what you want to know, probably. Anyway, back to normal sizing. Did the cardboard Wi-Fi work? John Nice 6500 is crazy. Yeah, I got this before the Rampocalypse, by the way. This thing, I've had it for like a year now. 5500 is good too. Bro, I wanted to get the 5600. DDR4. I got it before the Rampocalypse. I want to get more DDR4 memory, but it's too expensive. Have you guys seen the John Bringus, or no, not John Bringus, but the Basically Homeless video? Or no, is it Basically Homeless? But he built a cyber deck, and I'm like, bro, I'm very jealous of the RAM he's got, bro. That RAM is crazy. I'm like, goddamn, he built a whole cyber deck with a mini ITX. AM4 can't use DDR5. DDR4 cheap as fuck in my country. Damn. Me big jealous. AM4 locked to... I'm so lucky I bought 64GB before the apocalypse. Bro, I'm jealous of you. I didn't even know shit about computers, bro. I got this thing as a pre-build when I started. I was like, bro, I don't know how to even get started with computers. I've come a long way, I think, in my time of doing all of this stuff. I'm getting distracted, though. So yeah, you can do add. But this is like... Here's a really good question, by the way. And this is something I didn't know with D until yesterday. But every time you do a function like this in D, you make a copy of stuff. So let me show you guys an example from D that I made yesterday. And this is something that's really important. Do things.d. So here I have a simple program I wrote in D, and guess what? I still have 8GB. I learned to duplicate it to 220GB using ZRAM. DDR5 is hella expensive where I am. Bro, I'm just jealous of the RAM gods. I'm jealous of Elon Musk for all of his RAM, bro. I want his RAM. He needs to stop using it for Grok and give it to me. Anyway, back to this number 0. Well, here's my simple program that I wrote in D yesterday. And this is an example of ref. So reference is like you take an int as a reference. So normally, if I were to write whoa. But if I were to write like let's say I have another void function like void do thing no ref, and we just do int number 0, and then we do number 0, and then we do plus equals 10. But there's 2 number zeros now because I basically duplicated it. So anytime, if we were to put number 0 into this, it's going to create a second number 0 within this scope. So here, I'll just explain that better. I'll just put makes a copy, and then makes no copy. This one just references it. So instead I should just put reference. But this would have to be an int as well. So you'd have to do int and then return, which is what I saw there that made me think of this. I was like, return. So this is kind of something I like about D-Lang, is having the ability to do a reference. Check out ZRAM tools if you are a Debian user, and ZRAM generator if you're using Arch. Raid your local data center. Joke. At this point, it shouldn't be treated as a joke. We should rate it Destiny style. Use mints and dual boot with Windows 11 because my 4070 Ti. Oh, yeah. I used Mint when I first got started. Before that, I was using Windows, and then my computer did a weird, funny thing, and then I became a Linuxian. I tried to get Arch, but it was a bit hard. I put a lot of referencing without copying variables. Yeah, I have no idea how it's going to work in V, because I haven't gotten there yet, but I'm sure... Like, I didn't know this until yesterday, either. I only noticed this because I read the book. Return number 0. So this would make a copy. This one makes no copy. This just references the number and says, change it. Which I like this one better. Reference types are my favorite thing in D-Lang, so very nice. But Arch is amazing. Arch is not hard to do. This weekend I'll be installing Arch. If you want to follow along, we'll be installing Arch on my laptop again. Because when I did it the first time, I used Arch install, but now I'm an actual real G, and I'm gonna try to speed run the Arch installation. And yeah, I fucked up so hard I had to reinstall Windows 2. Me, I will never reinstall Windows, even if Jeff Bezos tells me I need it for my Amazon Cloud Web Services or whatever the hell happens in the future. See, when I have to do cloud compute, I'm going to just gonna have to install Arch on my cloud compute. I'm on AMD Ryzen 5 4600H CPU with and Rust on release level called GTX 1650. So what's this one? Function greet. And these are variables? What are these? Again, the type comes after the argument's name. What the fuck? Reverso mode. Alright, congratulations, guys. Let's say I have reverse. I am become reverse. Let's say hello string. Bro. No. This is a recipe for cringeanium. It's backwards. Bro, this is confusing. Hello string. Ah, yes. Hello string. Wow. It's reversed. Return. And then I like this. That's actually neat. Okay, let's create our own greeter function for this program that we're gonna make. Let's go up to here. Using my D-Lang experience to write my V-Lang program. Greeter. Alright, I got my greeter program right here. I'm gonna look really terrible at this shit. Like I have no clue what I'm doing. I use Windows just because people at my home use Windows PC, use my PC too. Oh, that's cool. But you should try to get them on that Arch Linux grind set, you know what I mean? Enforce the Arch world dominance, you know what I mean? Billy Gates could pay me and I would barely use Windows. Yeah. Alright, so we're gonna create greet string. Ah, hello string, how are you doing today, guys? How are you doing today, guy? I mean, hello string. Hello string. Bro, that's what I think of now. Hello string. I tried, bro, it's just that they feel Windows is more convenient, so I don't blame them. Half the time, they ain't even home, bro. Then dual boot. Make them use Linux Mint, because it's the same as Windows anyway. Actually, Linux Mint, I can't diss on it. Now, what the fuck is this shit? So you have function greet, right? And then it, oh. Wait, this is a function declaration, actually. So instead, you can put a greet string in your function. Oh, wait, what? Wow. Wowazooey. This is actually pretty interesting. A function greeter greet string. So if you take an input and then that's weird, but huh? So weird. Does it matter if it's like this? I bet it doesn't matter if it's like that. But it's weird that they do this and then over to like how that is. And then function greeter, but it also has a section after that. So then it has a string. This is such a weird syntax. This syntax is really, honestly, gonna be kind of confusing. Like, if you do this, I bet it works the other way, though, because I bet, like, if you're familiar with, like, other things. See, here we have this, and then now I can return greet, I'm guessing. Return that, for example, which also has those, which point at those, kind of. But those are just, like, referencing the variable. I'm guessing that's how you reference things. So, I mean, if I had a function that referenced it, instead of... But these do returns. Let me go back up. There's no real explanation of the return for that. Like, return x plus y. Does that take a copy? For me, mint, it's 400. Guess what? 259 megabytes on idle. 400 is a good amount. Way better is 2 gigabyte. I love the fact that some way fish is expecting us to help him for real. What do you mean I'm expecting you to help me? I don't need any help. Bro. Does it look like I need help? I know what I'm doing. But this is like so weird though. I'm just going over how strange it is that this is formatted in such a weird way. Like imagine I do this, right? What the hell is this? What kind of fucking format is this shit? I'm gonna try doing it like this, and it takes greet string, and then it returns greet string. Returns greet. Looks like you do, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know anymore now. I'm confused. Hey, comma, salutation name. Let's just do that and then put hey greet and see if it works. Also, do that instead. Alright, let's see. Then we can call greeter in our main function. Or actually, what is hoisting? Functions can be used before their declaration. What the fuck? Once you've gone beyond the singly listing type of coding, you know you're a vet and you don't need help. Yeah, this is some weird stuff going on with this language. It's like kind of like it looks like D, but then it wants to do things like greet string, whereas in D, let's go ahead and open one of my D examples. Let's see, desktop, D tools. Choose one that's recent, like, oh, first GTK, the one we worked on yesterday. App.d. I worked on this a little bit, but, like, here's an example. Bool could possibly maybe be end probably. Like this one. Exactly like this, right? First you declare the type, then you put a name. Here, it's the opposite way. Anyway, let's go ahead and make a addition function, maybe? Oh, I have an idea. Let's do a calculator, but use the dash dash parameter. Alright, let's go ahead and try that out. Addition. So we'll just do add for now. We'll just make it an adding calculator, but we'll try to get to case. Yeah, I have a great idea. VS Code, better or late? VS Code late. That's my opinion. Instead of doing greet string, I bet there's like int. Does, how do they do their other functions? Wait, what? Int? They don't even declare the... You don't even have to declare the names. Whoa. Oh, wait, but that returns 2 ints. So maybe the... Wait, what the fuck? So you have a parameters here, but then you can specify returns too? That's pretty interesting. This is a lot of examples of how to do that. Wow. Oh, here we go. X int and Y int. So that's how you'd specify it. So you could do X int, Y int, boom, and then that's how you would do that. But then, do they specify the return? They return 1 int, so you have to put a return specifier here. NeoVim better. I think Vim's kind of cool, but I just haven't really gotten into it, honestly. I tried it out, but that was like, no. X plus Y. Can I do X plus equals? Also, it's weird to not end things in a semicolon. I couldn't get used to Vim. Alright, so we're gonna do os.args. I hope I can get to enum because that would be cool. And then but it's gonna take a string from that. How would you specify fish? Do you have a PO box or mailbox? No, I've looked into getting one. I should try to do that. I mean, I have a mailbox, but why? Why do you ask exactly? 3. Let's see if that works. I'm pretty sure this won't work because it will take them as a string. So we would need to turn a string into an int, which I'm sure is covered later on. args1, args2, args3. Why am I doing fast fetch? Alright, let's try v. Let's do it again. Get one. I can send you shit. Okay. Well, I don't know. It's probably gonna have to wait a bit because of things that are coming up in the future. So like, I probably got a few months to stream before I have to do some important stuff in my life for my job. So like I can stream for a few more months, and then when I go to do some stuff in a couple months, I am not sure how well it's gonna work out. So I'll have to figure out like what exactly is gonna happen, but I'll let you know if I get one. I'm not gonna specify anything because I can't really talk about that. V, and then let's see, what was it? Dash or v main. No, that would be v run main dot v, and then I'd pass dash dash parameter or stuff, and I'd pass 1 and 2, but it'd be 1, 2, or 1 and 2. Unexpected name returns. Oh, my bad. I'm dumb for doing that. Alright. Cannot use string as int arguments in argument 1 to add, which I expected that. And then cannot use string, yeah, expected. However, I can probably convert those. I'm sure there is a type conversion. So this actually could be really cool if you wanted to make like jlang, for example. I think I have jlang inside my path. J. Oh, never mind. I could add jlang to my path to show it off. It's actually pretty cool. Let's ls dot slash. No, actually ls j j9.7. Which one is the one that runs it, though? J is really interesting. It's something I haven't done a video on yet, really. Or actually even shown in a video, but there should be one that has jconsole.sh. Yeah, that's what we need. So then we'll just enter that. And then we'll just nano bash rc to include this path. So I'll just copy that up. Just to add it into my bash rc, and then that way I can be like, here's jlang. If you want to see a really fuck-ass language that I don't like, honestly. Because it's not only is it one that I can't compile, it's one that is... Really only good for like whiteboard applications. Like, what are you gonna do? Create like a whiteboard, honestly? Like, what? jconsole.sh. And then, boom. Oh, but do colon $ path just to include the path there. Oh yeah. All right. Source .bashrc. And now let's go ahead and do this. It looks easy at first, but it isn't, low-key. Yeah, like what, this language? Or J. J is shitty. J is one I will never mess with, but J. Oh. Just because I... new line. Wow. J console. Oh? What is this? Java monitoring and management console. Bro, what the fucking shit did I discover? What's my opinion on Ruby? I've never tried it, never seen it. What the fuck did I find? JConsole. Wow, this is a weird thing I never knew existed. .sh. Are you sure there's no JConsole? I could have swore there was one in LS this one. Export path or echo path, actually. Echo path. Vendor Perl. Where's the J9 console.sh? Yeah, we have the console.sh. We all have this one, actually. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've never tried Ruby. Ruby sounds cool. Like, it sounds like it'd be a cool language, but I've only seen it like one time and I forgot what it looks like. I know Perl's probably pretty cool, honestly. I think Perl sounds cool. Like, it just sounds cool. Like, it has a cool sounding name, but then you just go, it's a cool language, I'll learn it eventually. Oh, we all have this one, actually? That's the Java OpenJDK Java application. I was like, I never realized that exists. JConsole, though. So it won't run JConsole because JConsole exists in that other form. Actually, what if I do ./jconsole.sh? Oh, that just specifies, well, if I just do, but it is in, there. Jade 9.7 has jconsole.sh. Yeah, it's probably better to do with a symlink, honestly. Well, who cares? It just sucks. Let's just say that, but there was something else I was going to show. Like, returning multiple values reminds me of jconsole. I was like, well, we can make our calculator do that too. Anyway, that's pretty useful if you want to have a weird function that does that. Or make some kind of weird, shitty array version. Alright, next one. Symbol visibility. Ooh, this is fucking cringe. Kind of? Functions are private, not exported by default. To allow other modules to use them, pre-append public. Prepend pub. The same applies to structs, constants, and types. So if you had a module, right, and then you had, let's say you had a struct that's public and a function that's public, but then that function references a bunch of private things, are those still exposed because of that function, or does that function not need them to do that? How does that work? I'm pretty sure it probably just... Well, we'll figure that question out later, but that's a good question for me to ask, because it's like one that I'm kind of interested in. Here we go. HBM. I like HBM. Variables. Name : equals Bob. Age is 20. Private functions here don't really seem any different than public functions, not gonna lie. Okay. Well, no, it'd be like inside of a module, right? So like, if you had a module with like a second thing and you're putting them together, like for example, module main. If we had a second thing and it was some other module. Anyway, mutable variables. Oh, my bad, I accidentally clicked right click. Mute age. So you can mute them, change them to a different thing. Wait, oh. Why would you... Wait, so if a variable is immutable, that means that... Does that not change the type? Feels like pub would defines if a user can access it by saying clicking a button. Without pub, the line would act as source code. Oh, okay. I don't know. Oh, here. Variables can be declared or initialized using colon equals. This is the only way to declare variables in V. This means that variables always have an initial value. I think it's kind of interesting to have one way to declare variables. Like, yeah, it's nice to have a bunch of different ways to do it, but it can be confusing sometimes. If you have like a D program, for example, I might have done it in this one, but like I probably declared somewhere. No, not this one. But I know in other ones, you can declare multiple variables in one line, and I'm like, yeah, that can get confusing. Or like there's 10 different ways to make an array. Kind of. I feel like D is trying to avoid that, but like they really didn't hit the mark, and then you can still kind of declare things. It's a lot less than like if you were to do it in, well, there's a lot less types, but there's a lot of ways you can declare an array. Like you can have a dynamic array of arrays, a struct array, which is potentially containing arrays. Like there's a lot of things you can do. But those like user-defined types too is a struct, println name, println age, println large number. Okay, and then to choose a different type, use a type conversion. The expression t v converts the value v to the type t. Unlike most languages, v only allows defining variables in functions. By default, v does not allow global variables. See details. For consistency across different code bases, all variable names must use snake case style as opposed to type names, which must use Pascal case. I have no idea what either of those are, but I'm sure I will learn at some point. But anyway, tv converts value t to the type t. So for example, could I do int? Well, actually, we would take those, right? So we would take these two things. We need to convert them. So we need to take them as a string. So an X string and a Y string, but we want to return an int. And then we want to do, we want to take those, right? And then we can do int X and then int Y. That's what I want to do. So that should make it work. I also want to take a note on this thing real quick. Alright, here we go. So here we go. Fn add X string to Y string. And then it fails because expression evaluated but not used. So evaluated, what does exactly this mean? I'm guessing something to do with, bro, me failing at this shit right now. I'm guessing it's something to do with like conversions and how that works. I don't think it. Maybe it needs to be declared. Anyway. That's fun. Passing it through here to do adding is like a crazy thing, honestly. I don't think I'm ready for that yet because we still need to learn standard libraries and things. The variables or the values of multiple variables can be changed in one line in this way. Their values can be swapped without an intermediary. For evaluation, there needs to be a variable assigned to the yeah, I figured. Oh, wait. So, hold on, let's go back. T to the type, okay. At least there needs to be a user input variable. Yeah, well, we're passing these as the strings, because that's what they are. So, it's kind of weird, though, how it does it. Int. Oh, exhaustion is kicking in, bro. I'm tired. Sleep deprivation is kicking in rapidly. Oh, yeah. Kicking in, bro. Ugh. Anyway, so yeah, you do something with these to convert them. Maybe you have to assign them to equal string. But at that point, that doesn't work because we were doing that before, honestly. Initialization versus assignment. Note an important difference between between the colon equals and this. So colon equals is to initialize and equals to is assign, or is to assign. Yeah, makes sense. Because the variable age is not declared, all variables need to be declared and be figured. Ugh. Mute A, mute B. The values of multiple can be changed in one line. In this way, their values can be swapped without an intermediary variable. Oh, so you can do A equals B and B equals A. Ah, that's actually pretty cool as well. Warnings and declaration errors. In development mode, compiler will warn you that you haven't used variable, unused variable warning. In production mode, enable passing the dash prompt flag will not compile it, unlike Go. Let's just make a function that just doesn't add things yet. Let's just make a print 2 and 3. So we'll take 2 string, 2 string and 3 string. Bad. 3 string. Let's just make it do that. So then if you put a string in there, it just prints them both. We'll start simple because I don't think I'm ready for type conversion in this language. So print string and then print ln. Why would I put print string? What am I doing? 2 and 3. So that's cool. Print 2 and 3. Let's see about that one. Let's try that out. 2 string, 3 string. Oh, but it wants to return an int for some reason. Let's make it return a string. Cannot contain uppercase fucking letters? God damn it. Who makes these, bro? Print 2 underscore 3. Try that one. Oh my gosh. That's actually something that will bother me. This is like Python. Oh, Python vibes right now. Unexpected token. Alright, I missed that. Python vibes right here. Missing return. Oh, right. Instead of doing that, you would just return 2 and 3. Put a string. Oh, like long. Oh god, that's C++ or C for you. Long. Whoever did that was evil. Where is that at? 2, 3. Oh, right. What it wants is a pointer kind of thing, bro. It needs a $sign. But you would format it as a string. So actually, it only returns one string. I think I remember this. I think that's how it was. And instead of doing that, we just return one string now. I think that's correct. Ah! Unused parameter 2. Unused parameter 3. Now they're unused. Okay. Let's go back up to where they do the first time. Aha. That's how you do it. You put them inside of these. Bro, what are those? Those are your scope, bro. Oops. Those are your scope, bro. Stuff. Wait, what? Stuff 1 and 2. It took the wrong ones. It needs to take 3 and 4. Whoa! I broke it. It didn't want to print out stuff. That's pretty interesting. Anyway, I'm gonna put in a comment with the actual command to make this thing run. Bro, this is actually pretty neat. So then, okay, basically, let's say we take stuff 3, for example, Gordon. Half-Life 2 is a great game, trust me, guys. Well, actually, Half-Life 1 is the best Half-Life game in the series. Stuff 2. Other. Let's just put other, and then say Freeman. O. Index out of range. Let's go ahead and copy this in here so I can put it in a comment just to give an example of how to use comments as well. Which is actually the easiest thing, but I think for me, I like that syntax the best. Boom. So that would be one way of running it, or you could do build. Which I am going to re-refer to this program when we work on more advanced stuff tomorrow. I'm sure we're going to be getting to advanced stuff within like the next week. This is a pretty interesting language to learn. But the question is, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a lot of stuff going on there. I think it needs to take 4, and it needs to take 2. Right? It needs to take 3 and 4. What? What the... Actually, what was the return? Println for the first one. Print on OS args. Oh, see what's going on under the hood. That's what I want to do. So we have 1, that's the path. 2 is this. I really like that they include the path in OS args. That's pretty useful. 3 should be that one. And 4, unless you can't use the path. Because it didn't print the first one and it had a print line for OS args. I bet you can specify what the directory is as well. I can imagine that is the case. Or you just change what directory it's in. But it doesn't want to take this one. Boom. And it doesn't want to take... Which that's the 3rd index. And this one's the 5th index. Well, we go 0, 1... Or we'd go 0, 1, 2... Okay. 3 and 4. 0... Hello. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think... So instead it would be... 2, 3, and 4, which should literally print out Gordon Freeman. But it does not. It just prints out Freeman. And it does that one first. But also, this is returning that, but it doesn't write that. So, it returns this type string, though. I'm guessing if we did println and then put this inside of the parameters of println, it won't cause any issues, which is really exactly what I wanted. Ah, yes. And we'll just have it print OS args 1. There we go. So now, boom, it prints out stuff. Wow, I got it working. Look at that. So that's how you'd print that out. That's amazing. So if you pass it as an argument to it, that's really cool. I'm glad it showed me that first. Like the first thing it shows me is printing out arguments from the fucking command line. Now we can print out our path too, which this is also really useful because then you can grab a path using this. Like straight away it gives you the path from import OS. I bet there's other cool imports, but OS is my new favorite now. That's my favorite. My first favorite import is OS. That's gonna remain my favorite because if you can take a path from that, be like, oh wow, we know we have the path from the command line. So that's actually where the thing's running at. I bet if I ran it in another location, I'd be able to grab like, let's say I was running this on my desk or like on desktop, on the desktop itself or on the documents folder. I would be able to grab the documents folder path just by running this and importing OS there. Anyway, moving on. So here we go. While variable shadowing is not allowed, field shadowing is allowed. What's the difference between that? Exactly, I'm guessing if you had, oh wait, is this field, I guess inside of a struct, maybe? Like a struct could have a width. So if you had I guess that works. Variable shadowing is not allowed, but that's not a common thing. I don't think that was a thing in D-Lang. I don't know. Do most languages do variable shadowing? I feel like D-Lang, whenever you shadowed or two variables, it'd be like, bro, you just shadowed, you're a criminal now. You're going to D-prison, bro, for shadowing. Alright, V-types. This is important. Oh, wait. Oh, I love these ones, bro. This I-128 and U-128 are amazing. Thank you for this. Also, very nice syntax. This is very... Here's our U byte, basically. A U short, uint, and that makes it really simple. Okay, they kept it simple. They got a float 32, which would be a... I believe those are... Let me check my brain. I've never actually really worked with these, but I think there was like... There's a double, which is the 64 to 86 extension in DLang. So that was... there was a lot more floating types, but this keeps it kind of simple. Rune represents a Unicode code point. So like, oh, like when you have string, I guess this is like their version of char, essentially. And instead of having like, I guess, here's the thing though, it's Unicode, not UTF-8. Is it the same thing though? That's the real question. String is probably just an array of runes, I'm guessing. And then bool is, who knows. But in DLang, you'd handle a string as a char array. Technically, it's just an array of... At the end of the day, all you'd have is an array of U bytes. If you convert char array into U bytes. Bro, I'm choking on air, bro. I'm going insane. Anyway. Note, unlike C and Go, int is always a 32-bit integer. Yeah, because C is a fuck-ass language and 32-bit is... DLang always makes it 32 bits. Int should just be 32 bits. Like, if int is not 32 bits, then what the fuck are we doing? But I like that you can convert an int to another thing. An int is a value, for example, that can automatically be promoted to F64 or I64, but not U32 or U32. That would mean a loss of sign for negative values. Yeah, because I'm negative. Oh, wait, that's cool. Wait, so I'm guessing what happens with int is that it probably takes the first 4. So, like, let's say we have an int right here. I'm going to just give an example in the comments, but int, right? So int colon, I'm going to say it's 0, 0, 0, 0, and then FA, right? That's or like F1 or 1 A, or actually let's do 3C, my favorite. So that's an int. I bet a uint, or in this case, uint, which is basically uint equals a short, basically. So if you had a uint, or and we'll go ahead and give it 32 or U32, which I like. That's a great type. And then you have a short, which would be a U16. Essentially, or, well, that'd be U short, but essentially a short can equal that because it's within the bounds of it. So if you were to assign a short to a... I like the type conversion. It's actually really nice that D doesn't have the ability to convert for like a U, an unsigned value to a regular value. That's pretty nice. So uint to short. Wow. But it would probably be, for example, you do whatever your uint is, right? So you take uint, you do U32, you'd probably have 0, 0, 3C. So if my short is that, then these are the negatives. I'm guessing that's how you assign it negative, but because I've never actually really looked at the bytecode or what the actual values look like in binary for trying to convert uint to a short to uint, or trying to, or like I know what an int looks like, but it basically looks like this. So I'm assuming that this kind of thing would be if you assign a short onto a uint, basically, you'd basically put it right here. And then these are your two negatives. Or you'd do the first two are the negative values, but you'd have to have some way of specifying that. It is a short still. So it makes more sense to do it like this, and then the code in front of it will be like what type it is. Although that's getting into a really deep level of machine code that I really don't understand yet. So that's overstepping what I know. But yes, you can do that. So no, V is of type U16, no promotion to it. Y is of type F23. We'll just continue. I don't really care about all that. Strings in V, strings are encoded in UTF-8. That's actually pretty good. And are immutable, read only by default. That's not great. However, if you're gonna work with strings, that doesn't matter. If you just read this, I don't like that. I'm gonna be honest. That's a terrible thing, honestly. I'll explain why. Because if you take a copy of it, it means you're gonna take up way more memory. So you'd have to take. I'm guessing you have to take a copy, and keywords. I'm guessing, so I don't actually know, but I bet you have to take a copy of the string hello, and let me give another example. For example, if we take what I've learned from VLang is the string, right, and then you have your UTF-8, which could be like 1F, 2C, I have no idea. That's a null character, I'm pretty sure. 96. Actually, I think Hello World was like something like 101. Actually, it's 106. But I also don't know how to write 100, so let's not do it in decimal. But actually, we could do in decimal. Like 120 something, and then let's just give it 111, and then yeah. So that's like, let's say that's our string, whatever this is. 123. Why not? That's our string. So if this is our string, right? Think of how much space each of these are going to take up in the inside of our memory. That's a bad thing, right? We want to take, instead, if we copy this, we're taking up not just 1 byte, we're taking up 5 bytes for our UTF-8 string at its like maximum compression. So let's say that's a UTF-8 string example, right? And then each is a byte. So if each is a byte, then you'd be taking up so much space. You'd take up 2 times the space to take a copy. That's what I don't like. That's why I really like reference from VLang. So if that's taking copies of things is bad, but making references is good. That's what I would say. So the fact that it's immutable tells me, well, if it's immutable as in read only, technically, well, actually in DLang, when you do immutable and then you try to change it to not immutable, you're just taking copy as well. Or you can reference it. No, you can't reference immutable. I don't think you can do that. I've never actually tried that. I've barely worked with ref types, but I'm gonna go ahead and say probably can't do that. So, cool stuff. In other words, cool stuff. But read only means that you can't really. Oh, here's examples of slicing. So let's go ahead and do some slicing then. Slicing is really nice. Okay, so for slicing, they also have. Are these are type or case or not case handling? These are whatchamacallums, but they're important. So you would do, for example, let's say that we have. Let's create one called for. We'll create a. Or no, let's create a function that slices them. Actually, let's get in the habit of making functions. slicer, or slice underscore 4. So this will be used to make my fourth example for demonstrating what this can do, although I'm not really sure what exactly I'm going to expect to return from this. Return, and then we're going to figure out what we're going to do. Take my 4 string, comma, let's go with, yeah, we just need a 4 string, right? We're going to take a slice. We're going to want to return a string. So, to take a slice, it takes 4 bytes. Okay, so for example, the world emoji takes 4 bytes and its string length is reported in bytes. Oh, okay, so that's how you take a string.length. So let's do that first. Let's go ahead and return a point to that 4. I don't know if that's a pointer or what. Return a 4 in that case, and then here let's do println and try to get the length of os.args is 0. And then do dot length. That's what I want to print out. So then boom, let's try. And it's 43 long for the path. So that's how you can get a length. Pretty cool, right? Not cool at all. But anyway. And then we could put it in an assert. And I'm pretty sure assert throws an exception at compile time, at least as far as D goes. Assert, instead of doing println, we'll just do an assert that it equals 10. Equals 10. Then do that. Or actually to test, I think it's equal. So yeah, it throws an exception because public assertion fails. So yeah, that's what happens if you try to assert that it equals 10 instead of printing a line. That's what that is basically. It's a compile time way to handle stuff. Now, the way you test if it's at compile time is because I don't think you can have them. No, you can't have them. So that's a way of testing stuff, basically. But this so far has been a easy language to learn for me. And let's continue for like the last portion. Let's try to finish up this whole page, which has a lot of stuff on strings or types of things. So, aardvark. Bro, there's so many A's in aardvark. Replace each A in the word aardvark. Or replace each letter A in the word aardvark with aardvark. Bro, we should write a program that does that. It's like recursively printing out aardvark. And then it checks if... That should be my next D-Lang project. Okay, back to everything. So they can take a slice though. Oh wait. Convert string to an array of view A. So I figured it was something like that. So we could technically, let's take, for example, let's do that first. Actually, yeah, let's make that the last thing I do today. I kind of want to finish up the page, but there's going to be a shit ton of stuff on here because we're talking about types. So that's a lot to do. So what I think we're gonna do, we're gonna take a string, right? We're gonna take string, for example. We should just call that one 4. I don't know why I'm calling it something else. All right, let's go ahead and call this one 4. We're gonna take our os.args 4, and then we're gonna go ahead and put that in here. So 4, and then return 4, but no, we're gonna return something else actually. Although this is actually referencing, I think. I think this is how referencing is handled in this. Convert string to an array of U8. So s.bytes, and it does // or no, that's a comment. Let's make that, let's do r colon equals 4.bytes byte. Okay, so you need to do .bytes. Return R. Actually, return the string form of R. I don't know if that's gonna work. Maybe return. Yeah, no, just write out what R becomes. So that's how we're gonna do it. And then that should basically be a functional function thingamajib, and then yeah. Let's try running it, see if it breaks. All right, now let's do println, and then let's do slice 4, and take let's do a slice 4, and then let's take os.args 4. There we go. So that's how you would get yourself an array of bytes from that. So that's really simple. I mean, that's pretty simple to do in most languages. Although this is really simple to do here. Although, let me do it in D. Just to give an example real quick of how I would do that in D-lang. Just to make an example. All right, let's do it real quick. So first of all, do void main, and then you would do this, import standard dio, and you'd want to take readln or read. So one of these two, actually you would do colon read, and then you would do either readln or read. So you either do read, let's do readln, just to make it simple. I think readln does include that character, but anyway, you do readln. Or you could do compile time stuff, but yeah, we'll just do readln, and then we'll do string blah equals readln. So that creates our string initialization and initialize it as a user input, and then boom. Although technically you can just, I think you can just readln into blah, but we're just going to do readln, string blah equals readln, and then we're gonna cast to a uint or a ubyte array our readln. Cast ubyte array, and then just do readln, or actually blah. And that's going to be done using writeln. So you do, you'd add another input here, or import here for writeln. So then you would do writeln, cast, all of this stuff. So it's way simpler to do it in that other one because you don't have to worry about the type conversion stuff, really. Also, don't have to worry about semicolons, it appears. Type conversion, let's just make it types.d. So that's an example of how you do it in delaying. Wow. Let's do dmd types.d, and then let's do /types. Hello. And that's how you do it there. So that's an example of how type conversion in D is different from the type conversion in V, where we have this function, really simple, and I'm taking my input and passing it through a parameter to my actual program. Very cool stuff. Anyway, I'd like to thank you all for watching, because this is where I'm going to wrap it up for today. So I'd like to thank you all for watching. I will see you all next time.